Good morning. We are at the Rule of Law Digital Center of the World Law Foundation. We are truly honored and very happy and lucky to have Nadine Hack here. So Nadine, welcome to Madrid.
Thank you.
And would you tell us something about your goals? What are you involved? I know you live in Geneva. So could we know a little bit more about you, your life, and your purpose?
Yeah. So, well, first, I just want to start by saying it's such an honor to be here. And as I told you personally, I have attended and actually organized hundreds, if not thousands, of conferences. And this was, in fact, the very best that I've ever been at. Every minute, the people who you honored, the 5 extraordinary female jurists around the world, attorneys who are working to protect the rights of the disenfranchised. Of course, giving the special prize to Andrew Young. I was honored to be part of the Andrew Young International Delegation to come here to see that. The entire program was so moving. The way that you organized it, the live interaction, the flawlessness, the seamlessness, everybody was prepared. I know that thousands of hours of preparation go into that 3-hour presentation, and I really want to, in the French we say chapeau, which means I tip my hat to you. And the whole team from the World Law Foundation, from Cremada that's great. Who organized this, who took care of everybody, really brilliantly done. The videos, every dimension was just perfect. And so what brings me here, of course, is my husband, Jerry Dunphy, who's accompanying me. We've both been friends of Andrew Young since the American Civil Rights Movement. And so it was particularly wonderful to be here with him. And he's amazing at 91, and my husband is 88, and they're both going strong, committed to human rights of all people, every place in the world. So that was the first thing I wanted to say.
Well, Nadine, thank you very much. The president of the World Law Foundation, Javier Canales, and myself extended you a few minutes ago an invitation to you and your organization to participate in the World Law Congress, New York World Law Congress, that
Yes.
will take place on July 20 and 21st at the New York City Bar Association
Yes.
and at the United Nations.
Yes.
I hope you can make it with
We're very excited about that. This is a partnership that Javier was talking about, of connecting the World Jurist Association, the World Law Foundation, with the Global Citizen Circle. And you're celebrating 60 years of this organization. We're celebrating 50 years of our organization, and the goals are very, very aligned and mission. And so Javier very kindly extended an invitation for us to organize a Global Citizen Circle panel at the World Law Congress at the United Nations and at the offices of the
New York City Bar Association.
New York City Bar Association in New York in July, and we will definitely take you up on that. And you asked for panelists from different countries, and we have panelists from different countries who are part of our international network of more than 20,000 people from countries all around the world, and we'll work together to find exactly the right panel for you. So that's a wonderful thing. And then Javier was also kind enough to invite me back here because I'm based in Lausanne, Switzerland now for the last 13 years, so it's a 2-hour flight to Madrid. I can come and lead a panel discussion right here at the newly inaugurated Digital Center for
Rule of Law Digital
Rule and Law. And so I look forward to doing that as well. And then we talked about organizing an online Global Citizen Circle where you can bring in some of your special people. So each of those three activities will be a wonderful thing to do.
Okay, it will be truly my honor to see you in New York and to host you here in Madrid at the Rule of Law Digital Center, and jointly together promote rule of law as the only alternative to the rule of force, and try to join forces and make a better world.
And the thing that I'll add, it's something Andrew Young said yesterday to Javier when the three of us were together. Javier ended by saying something similar about thank you for all you've done for the rule of law. And Andy said, something that I learned from Dr. King early on is the rule of law is not enough on its own. It has to be married to compassion and love and forgiveness. And Javier found that very deeply moving, and that's been a guiding principle for all of us for all these many years, is that yes, we all seek justice, but we call it restorative justice rather than retributive justice. There are ways to hold people accountable, but also show mercy and kindness and goodwill, not vilify other people, and not recognize that we're all human beings, that every single human being, regardless of the circumstances of their birth or regardless of what they end up doing because of the cultural way in which they were raised, at heart has a good soul, a good essence, and it's our job to find that soul and to humanize that person, even people who have perpetrated horrible misdeeds. We try to find their humanity and bring it out. We're not always successful. And Andy shared many stories of people who had him in prison, jail keepers, who he found a way to interact with, and then they changed their lives. They left doing the kind of work they were doing and sought out different kinds of work because of how much he transformed their lives. Even though they were brutally mistreating him, he was treating them with humanity and dignity. And it's exactly the same lesson that Nelson Mandela, who's was a member of our Global Citizen Circle. We did circles with him in South Africa. 27 years of brutal imprisonment. First, while he was in prison, he befriended his jail keeper, whose life was completely transformed because of how Mandela treated him. And then when he came out of prison, instead of seeking vengeance for the people who had oppressed him and all of the people of South Africa, the majority, the black people of South Africa, he worked first to create a new constitution, create a new government, and then once he was the president, to make sure that all the voices, all the faces, all the different people of South Africa could participate in government, in business, in all fashions. Of course, South Africa, like America, it's a work in progress. There are still many things that are not good. There's much work to be done. But it's that example of saying we seek justice, and we seek it with compassion and humanity. And the heart of Global Citizen Circle, we try to have civil discourse, even if we disagree.
I totally agree with your view. And just as a matter of fact, Nelson Mandela was also awarded
Yes.
with World Peace and Liberty Award, just like Ambassador Jan the other day. And I'm truly looking forward to see you here, because rule of law is really a very complex notion. We try to define it in a short theme or a short motto, but totally part of the rule of law, as you very well say, is compassion, is mercy, and is forgiveness. So really looking forward to host you here in Madrid and to have a conversation and to contribute to promote these ideas that we are talking.
Yes.
And that people understand that the importance of institution and of rule of law and of compassion and forgiveness, because a lot of people give it for granted, and it's important also to protect it and to promote it.
Yes, and as many of your honorees said, the honorees with the Ruth Bader Ginsburg circle, almost every single one of them said that we can't take it for granted anywhere, even in countries that now are democracies. Democracy is under threat. It's always been under threat. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. We always have to speak truth to power. We always have to assure that the leaders of countries are honoring the rule of law, are following the institutions that were set up to protect democracy. And whenever we see it under attack, as we see now, sadly, in too many countries of the world, and not just in the developing world, as Americans like to point to the developing world as having autocrats. No. Sadly, now in recent history in the United States and throughout Europe, we're seeing more autocratic governments, governments that are trying to stop freedom of press, stop freedom of expression, break down the judicial institutions, break down everything that protects democracy. And it's the job of people like us, individuals and organizations who are committed to protecting and bolstering those institutions, are what fight against those who are trying to destroy them, diminish them. And we can never take it for granted.
Thank you very much, Nadine. So this is also your center.
Thank you.
Let's speak truth to power jointly, if you want, here in Madrid, in Switzerland, in New York, and throughout the world. So thank
Wonderful.
you very much.
Great.
My pleasure.
Yes.
My honor. Okay.
Thank you.